Hello, writing students from Apex. I'm here to give you an overview of how to complete your writing assignments. You'll need a few items. Make sure you're ready for the first unit. There's writing assignments in each. Make sure you have access to the internet so when you're ready to upload your completed writing assignment, you'll have that. Make sure you have an active email, or you can use Apex messaging. That serves as an email as well. And you can load up stuff to those. A word processing program. For all Durham Tech students, Office 360 is available for free, and you just have to have your student ID number. A computer or tablet, one of those are best for doing assignments. Trying to type it on a small phone will probably find you frustrated, or at least having your thumbs very sore. I recommend something to write on, something you can take some notes and brush out some ideas. And you should schedule a little more time, sometimes between 30 minutes and maybe up to 2 hours. Your Apex syllabus gives you recommendations for that. Some will take more, some will take less. But your idea or objective is to make sure that you're developing writing skills for your work, for future training, such as college. These are all very important to do. And complete your writing assignments as you go through a unit. Many of these assignments are based on what you just covered. And so if you skip and then wait till a couple units or try to wait till the end, you'll end up spending more time going back and saying, well, what did I do in that chapter? You might have to reread some material, go back over stuff. I would highly recommend that you do them as you go. And then if you have corrections, you'll have time for that. The writing grades do affect the overall course grade in Apex. All right, so here are the steps, and this works for both English students and history students. So if you're a history student, your assignments are much shorter. I think they do that because most of this is covered in the English courses, but here are some basic steps. First, read your assignment carefully. All right, so as you read the instructions, look carefully at what's required. So here's an example, and it says you're going to write an essay, and it says that the assignment for this lesson is to write an explanatory essay about the monkey's paw. And there's an example of doing something that you covered in this chapter, so you would want to have done this around the time you read it. It also tells you some things you should include, things like foreshadowing, which is a literary term, or tension or suspense. And then you're going to use evidence from the story. So you'll do things like saying, well, the character said this, or the action did this, the plot did this, it was located in this setting, etc. All those things will help you support your claim. So you always want to support your writing. Again, put it in your own words, but if you use a direct quote, make sure you quote those word for word with quotation marks. All right? And you'll see there's a little guide. See my arrow here? There's a little guide mark. You should use that to click on that and see the full explanation of the writing assignment, as well as reading the slides that it gives you. I also have printouts for anybody who would like those. So make sure you click on that icon to see the document. All right. Now, when I download or click on that document, I can download it. You'll see the little download button, or I can print it out. Or again, you can ask Ms. Stewart for copies of that. Come to campus and print them out, and it'll give you blow by blow, item by item, a writing guide. And there's even places for you to write things down to prepare for your writing assignments. Step 2, read the instructions in the writing guide as well. So you're not only just reading what it says on the slide on the screen, but also in the writing guide. Okay, so here's an example. It says write an essay, explains how foreshadowing the monkey's paw, and includes what you're doing. It tells you things like you need an introductory paragraph, 2 body paragraphs, and conclusion. So this essay is 4 paragraphs long. And essays run between 3 and 5 paragraphs long. That's the general minimum that most classes require you to write anyway. And you're going to use the evidence from the story. I already mentioned that. And transitions that show you use things like first, second, third. I do have some of those writing lessons that talk about some of these things in Sakai if you want to go there and find some more information. Step 3, do a little pre-writing. A lot of people want to do just the final draft. You know, give me the topic, I'll do the final draft. And what you do is you tend to get a little more frustrated, and the assignment becomes hard to do, and you sort of end up balling up rough drafts. But if you do the pre-writing, you'll find that it's a lot easier to complete your final draft. So here's an example of pre-writing, okay? And I made this one up. This was not actually an Apex, but it works the same way. So if I were going to do some pre-writing about this story by Ernest Hemingway, A Clean, Well-Lighted Place, I'd want to know the characters, because anytime you're writing about literature, especially stories, they're going to be characters. It might be animals, like to build a fire, there's a wolf in there, or a dog. Anyway, the setting, well, where is it taking place? Is the time, the place important? In this case, it's a very important piece of the story. Tension. Tension is we often call that the conflict. What is going on between the characters? Stories are pretty boring if it just tells you, well, this character did this and lived happily ever after. We like to see a little conflict, a little interaction between different characters. In this case, you have the old man, and then the older waiter and the younger waiter. And the tension is built by the discussion that the waiters have who disagree how to deal with the old man who's hanging around the cafe later and later and later. And they talk about the fact that this old man has attempted suicide. So it has a lot of different layers of tension, not just between the waiters, but also between the old man and himself. He has conflict within himself about whether he wants to continue to live. There's a little foreshadowing claim in there. The older waiter relates greatly to the old man. He feels like his life is not going anywhere. He feels lonely. He feels sad. He tries to tell that to the younger waiter, who's very impatient, very young, doesn't think about any of those things. And so he relates to the old man who needs a place to feel alive, the clean, well-lighted place, cafe, and the waiter sort of needs that as well. So step 4 is to type up your rough draft, or if you started on the computer. Some people like to do the rough drafts on the computer. That's fine. Complete it. Go through, make sure you have things like complete sentences, you fulfill the requirements, you put all the stuff in there it asks you to write, you have topic sentences, you have a thesis for the whole essay, all those different things. Again, there's a proofreading and some essay writing lessons in Sakai that you can access to review if you don't remember these things. All right, so a lot of people say, well, I don't have a word processing program on my computer. You buy a computer, you're borrowing somebody's computer, you have a tablet. I don't have access to that. It wants me to pay for that. It asks me for a paid, some kind of credit card to use it. Well, you don't have to worry about that. All Durham Tech students have free, no cost access to Office 360 online. Make sure you have your student ID with you. It'll ask you that, and then you can download it. And you can go to this website. This is a hot link in this lesson, and you can see that. You can also use Google Docs. Some of you are very apt with that. You know how to use it. If you want to use Google Docs, you can also do that. That's also another free service. But Office 360 allows you to do presentations, Excel files, a lot of different things, which would be helpful as you matriculate through our program and into the college. So don't forget to save your document. You often see this little symbol, looks like an old floppy disk they used to use. Uh, it's usually at the top of your page, and so you just need to do that frequently as not to lose your work. Okay, guys, I'm sorry. So don't forget to save your document. Like I said, look at this little floppy disk. Make sure you're saving it to the same place. Don't do a save as. If you do another save as, it'll change location or your name or whatever. Just do save once you've done the first save. Just make sure you know where you're saving your work. All right, so I really appreciate, I think most teachers would, is that you would put your name at the top of your document. I don't care if it's in the header or header, just at the top of your first page, put your name, and it would be helpful to also put the assignment number. So that way, when I have multiple assignments from you, sometimes I might get to the same assignments right away. I'm not thinking, oh, I graded that already. This is just common courtesy for any instructor. They always want your name and the assignment at the top. And if they ask you for a title to title your essay, include that. A title of an essay would be like A Dark Heart, not the name of the story. You wouldn't say Heart of Darkness, but you could say A Dark Heart, a scary story. Here, a man contemplates suicide or something like that. Okay, and then type in your essay. If you do a paragraph and you have another paragraph due, just hit enter at the end of your paragraph. I didn't complete this one, but this will make it clear that you have multiple paragraphs. This will speed up your work being graded because I'll have all that. All right, so finish the writing assignment with proofreading and correcting. So in the Apex, they have this little target thing. It's called practice. And practice really means finish your assignment. I don't know why they don't call it finish your assignment, but that's what it is. And it'll go back and it'll say proofread, look for fragments and run-ons, and make sure your spelling and capitals and punctuation are correct. You can use the grammar and spelling checker in your word processor, and MS Word is under the menu title called Review. And then you can click on it and you can tell it to check the whole document. All right, and that'll help you know that, oh, I finished it, I've got all I need. It's just a double check. It's never good to just say, oh, I finished it. It's always good to go back and review. It often has a rubric, which is what I'll be using to grade your assignment. I did not make up these lessons. I did not make up these topics. I did not make up these rubrics. I'm following what Apex set up, so be aware of that. I do take into account things like, you know, do you need more proofreading? Are you having trouble with that? And I will, if it warrants that, send the item back to you and say, hey, you need to fix this. And I'll usually tell you exactly what it is you need to fix. Otherwise, I may send you comments just to help you know what not to do the next time. All right, here's some basic grammar mistakes to look for. I just mentioned them. Spelling. Spelling check is basic. Capitals. You capitalize names, the first word in your sentence. I know when we text, we don't pay attention to spelling. We use abbreviations. We don't capitalize. We don't punctuate. And this is not texting. This is formal writing. Do I have complete sentences? A subject, a verb. Bob ran down the road. Bob ran. If you just put Bob down the road or ran down the road, even though the paragraph's about Bob, it's a fragment. Comma splices and run-ons, those are mostly sentences that have been stuck together wrong. You probably need to break them up into two sentences or use some higher level punctuation like a semicolon. Subject-verb agreement, that's only for present tense. When you write literature, you're supposed to write in present tense when you're writing about literature, even if it happened in the past. So Bob runs down the road, he finds the monster, he imprisons the monster. It's all going to be present tense. And when you use singular subjects like Bob or Jack or boy or girl, you're going to have an S on your verb. Otherwise, there's no S. Past tense, it doesn't matter, but you are writing in present tense. And then other irregular use of language such as slang, texting language, I already mentioned that, phrasing, descriptors, are those all messed up? Use your words processor grammar, but don't rely on what it says because it may not know that it's correct. Sometimes computers will say, there's something wrong with this, and there might not really be something wrong. But make sure you understand what it's telling you. Don't just pick a random correction if it gives you a correction. And then sometimes it won't give you correction. All right, send the document to the instructor. That's me. And what you should do is attach it to an email. So you look for the little paper clip or the word attachment, and you click on it, and it'll say, well, where do you want to find this document? And you go looking for where you saved it, on your computer, in the cloud, wherever, and select it. Just make sure you don't send too quickly. Make sure it's attached to the document so that when you click send, it's there. Now some emails now will ask you, did you forget to put the attachment? Not all of them do, but if they do, then maybe double check. I've done that a number of times where I thought I sent an attachment and it wasn't there. Again, you can also put it in the Dropbox in Sakai. And then you should get an email once I've got it saying I received it. Usually I say got it, or thank you, or something like that. If you don't hear from me in a couple days, and you feel free to remind me, Stuart, did you get my lesson or writing assignment 1.2 or whatever? That's fine. I don't mind being questioned about that. And then give me a few days to grade it and give it back to you. And there's lots of resources to help you with this writing besides me. You can go to the college IT program if you're having troubles with your computer or with the 360, whatever. Feel free to contact them. That's free. The college library in Building 5, known as the ERC. Our Sakai site linked to this class. Purdue OWL Writing Lab Online. You can go to the website Grammar Bites. They tell you about different grammar mistakes, punctuation, run-on, so forth. And like I said, your instructor, which is me, I'll be glad to set up some times or exchange emails or meet online to help you with that. So I want to end with one last thing. This is from Anne Frank. Most of us know about Anne Frank. She was a young Jewish girl who had to hide from the Nazis during World War II, and in the process she wrote a diary. Most of you have read something from her diary, or I believe she's also in some of the Apex lessons. But I picked this up. She said, I can shake off everything as I write. My sorrows disappear, my courage is reborn. And this is just another reason why we need to learn to write, not just for college. It's a way to give us some self-therapy, some self-courage building, self-confidence. And so think of it that way. Don't think of it as, oh, this is just something I have to do for Apex. Many of the lessons are personal. They let you write about yourself, write about your opinions, and your opinion counts. We know that. If you don't know that, yes, your opinion counts. And I love reading what students have to say about themselves. And we're not going to publish any of these out there. So you can say this is just something between me and my teacher, and I don't have to worry that she's going to publish it out there. I don't have to read it out loud in any class. I don't have to reveal what I've written, but it'll still give you a type of what they call catharsis, a way to feel about, to write about what you feel. I hope this lesson has helped. If it hasn't, or you just need more, please contact me. Send me an email, text me, we'll set up a time. I hope you have a great day as you work through your work and get successful, be successful. Bye.